what's up, guys? This is Angelo Dickens, realtor with Asian Inc., and I'm here with Dajuana Jones. Dajuana is a photographer extraordinaire. Actually met Dajuana through a friend of mine, April Parker. It's been about a year. Just kind of like just mutual friends, and you always connecting new people. So I thought she was perfect for the podcast or show, whatever you guys want to call it. So Dajuana, my first question to you is, what is your personal story?
My personal story is very broad.
So
where do I start?
Try to keep it to, I guess, relevant to kind of like what led you into entrepreneurship and business, maybe what influenced you personally to want to get into photography.
Okay, so I was about maybe 10 and my mom bought me a camera.
Okay.
I was fascinated.
Uh-huh.
The moment I touched it. And it wasn't a regular, it was like a Polaroid.
Yeah, so you have to shake it.
Yeah, you shake it. And so I was so excited. And I think I had about maybe a roll of 10 shots.
Okay.
And I took that camera the first day and I shot all 10 frames in like 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
I just And I said, Mom, I need more film. She said, no, you don't. That film is $40. That's
what?
it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So, but she bought me one more and she said, use it slowly. And so at that point, I take my little brother and I go in my bedroom and I take her sheets that you put on the bed and I nail them to the wall and I let them fall on the floor and then take my little brother and like, hey, put your church clothes on real quick. And then I have him stand there and do a bunch of poses and I shoot. He hated it, but I loved it. And so that's how I knew, and my mother also knew that I was passionate about photography. So from that point on, I took photography classes in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I started.
Addicted
ever since.
I remember when I first met you, I kind of asked you a question what actually influenced you, and so could you kind of just briefly talk about your time working, I guess, in the photo studio and how you were able to kind of branch out on your own?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
But first I worked in corporate.
Okay.
And I got hired as a manager to work in a photography studio. And the studio they put me in was actually, that studio was doing so bad, they were about to close it.
Okay.
And so they were looking for another manager to put in and bring it back to life. So, and I was so excited, just overzealous.
Yeah.
So I got in there and I think within 12 months, I took that studio from bottom store to number one out of the whole country.
Yeah.
It was I think 50 stores within a year. And I was so excited. I was like, yes, I'm getting a raise. They flew me to California, gave me awards and all kinds of stuff. And so when it came time to get a raise, I was like, they're about to give me bukus. But manager came in and was like, yeah, we got you a 9-cent raise.
Oh.
I said 9.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a dime. You couldn't give me a whole dime. This is like a whole slap in the face. And so the next year, my manager, he was like, we need you to do what you did last year, plus more. And the only thing I kept thinking was, but are you going to pay me more to get this more effort? And the following year, they gave me a 24-cent raise. Okay. So I finally had to talk with my boss. I said, look, my goal is to double my income every 2 years. He said, that's impossible. There's no way you'll be able to do that. And I said, that's what I want, though. Yeah. And so once I realized that if I stayed at that company I'd have to stay at that company for maybe 10 years just to get maybe $1 raise. So what I did was, since I was operating the studio, they had all these binders, like this thick, maybe 10, and each binder was just volumes of how to run a digital photography studio. So no lie, I lost my interest in working for the company, so I didn't really give it any energy anymore. Yeah. But what I would do is I would sit at the desk the whole day and I would read those books. Yeah. I would just read through them. And I just taught myself how to run a digital photography studio. Wow. And once I got all the information I needed, I quit. Okay. And when I quit, I got I think it was 401k. I just cashed it out. Okay. And I just took that money and I used it to start my own business.
That's pretty cool.
And so I've been running my own business ever since.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you were living in Oklahoma.
I was in Houston, Texas.
In Houston, Texas, then you kind of transitioned out here.
I transitioned out here, yes. When I was in Houston, it was I wanted to do fashion editorial, but the market in Houston wasn't didn't have a lot of opportunity for fashion editorial, models, brands, commercial product. It was more like weddings and portraits and you know, country type stuff. Yeah. So I felt like I reached a cap there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did, my business was successful, but I hit a cap and I just couldn't push past it. So I finally got hired for a job here in California.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out here, they said, hey, we need you to do a job, we want you out for the weekend. I said, could I just kind of stay a week maybe?
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, just let us know when you want to fly back. I said, bet.
Yeah.
They rented me a car, put me up in a place.
Wow.
And the job was in San Diego.
Okay.
And so I said, could y'all just fly me to LA and I'll drive to San Diego?
Yeah.
And they were like, sure, whatever you want. And I was like, this is easy.
Wow.
So I was in LA for 7 days,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got in this little rental car and I drove everywhere. I drove to all the studios.
Yeah.
All the studios I had seen on TV, I drove to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was supposed to come back, I said, I'm not going home. I'm staying here. I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Yeah.
But then I realized that's unrealistic
Mhm.
because I have my apartment in Houston. So I got on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Houston, called my landlord, and said, "Hey, what I gotta do to get out this lease?"
Yeah.
He was like, "If we can rent it out, you know, we'll let you get out." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, let's put it up."
Okay.
And so I got out of my lease, sold my car, sold all my furniture,
What?
and I moved down here maybe 3 months later.
Wow. How long has that been now?
That was 6 years ago.
Okay.
And then I just restarted my business here.
Wow.
I was like, if I can do this in
Mhm.
Houston and be successful and the market is small, like how much more can I do
Yeah.
in a city where the market is,
Yeah.
where the opportunity is vast?
This is like one of the fashion capitals of the world.
Fashion,
Yeah.
product, commercial, magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a choice, LA, New York, or Atlanta.
Okay.
And so I said, I'm gonna do LA.
Okay, cool. My second question to you, I mean, you probably may have answered it, but I guess give me a condensed answer to what led you into entrepreneurship.
Oh, I told you.
Yeah.
Short story long, working in corporate and realizing that I wasn't in control of my own income.
Okay.
They were.
Yeah.
So, and then they wanted me to work harder,
Mm-hmm.
but not pay me for the effort. And once I realized that I had the skills
Mm-hmm.
and I read all their books, now I have the
Yeah.
knowledge. And I said, I'm just gonna start my own business, and then I can control how much I make.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I've been doubling my income every 2 years.
Wow.
So that's what made me do it.
Yeah. Okay.
When he said I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
that's what made me do it.
That's cool. My last question to you is, how has your business had a positive impact on people's lives?
Oh, that's a good question. So, in my line of work, when photographing and having the ability to capture memories
Mhm.
always makes people happy, especially when I'm photographing events,
Mm-hmm.
like weddings or parties. The people that are there, they're in it.
Yeah.
They, but you don't always remember what happened that night.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a chance to capture all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And then when they go back and see the images, it helps them remember like what actually
Yeah.
happened and puts them back in that happy place.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when I'm shooting for like marketing materials,
Mhm.
that makes people happy
Yeah.
because then if it's a good image, they know they can sell their products.
Exactly.
And my goal is to keep my clients happy,
Mhm.
and that way they keep coming back to me.
Okay. I do see the value of photographers because I got married and we got a photography work done kind of
Mhm.
like through my wife's mom's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, like it kind of took a while to get the photography back, and we the images we got were nice, but it wasn't like we didn't get enough of them. And so like I wish we would have hired a professional like you because
Mhm.
I think we would have captured a lot more of those moments that you always remember, right?
I hear those stories a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So professionals are definitely worth money when it comes to real estate and photography.
Yes. You get what you pay for.
Exactly. Kind of like to close it out, like there's something specifically I want to know about you. It's like I heard that you kind of done some work with Vogue and Essence and other big names that we may not know. How did you get, I guess, your foot in the door with those places? It don't have to be for like each one, but just in general.
Right. I've learned in California it's about who you know.
Yeah.
And so I establish rapport
Mhm.
with certain people. Every time I establish a rapport with someone, it's intentional.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I established a rapport with people. I did free shoots.
Mhm.
Sometimes I had to just put myself out there and offer my services.
And they
just
call it
to build.
style shoots, right? Like when they're free.
No, they're called passion.
Okay.
Passion projects.
Fashion shoots.
Passion. So I linked up with a woman named Nikki Lund, and she's huge. She's a clothing designer.
Okay.
And so I did a shoot with her, and we fell in love with each other. And we established this trust rapport, because she has to trust me to use her designs.
Yeah.
And then she also has to trust me to give her the images. And sometimes in LA, you don't get your images from photographers.
Wow.
You know, you might know. And so we established a trust, and we worked together. We did a bunch of shoots, and then we just came up with this idea: let's get magazines. Let's get as many magazines as we can. And we did. Once she learned that I was trustworthy, then she was willing to introduce me to some of the editors that she knows. And she knows a lot of people. She knows the editors of Vogue.
Yeah.
So, you know, one day she just pitched our idea to Vogue, and they were like, shoot it, let's see what it looks like. And we put our all into it. Passion project, no one got paid, just to put it out there. We did it because we love it. And so a lot of times that's how I get my opportunities, because I love what I do.
Okay. You see, it's kind of like in business, it's like you give more than you receive, because it'll end up coming back to you.
Giving you will receive. I give my energy, and then I put it's positive. I love it. People know I love it, and then it just comes back. And next thing you know, I get a call, and I'm like, hey, we're in Vogue. I'm like, what? We're in Vogue. And so I just recently did Nordstrom too.
Wow.
You know, so I spend a lot of time on the computer, and I'm looking for these opportunities. But the opportunities that I've gotten like from Vogue and Nordstrom, and I just did a shoot with Issa Rae.
Okay.
Those opportunities actually came to me. I didn't have to look for them.
Cool.
So it's just about who you know.
Yeah, pretty much. So in closing, you know, do you want to let people know how to get in contact with you? How can they find you if they want to work with you?
Instagram. Dynasty Fashion Photography just Google it, and everything will come up. Google Dynasty Fashion Photography. Cool. You get my Instagram, you get my Facebook, you get my Google, you can read all my reviews, and you'll get my website.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you doing this with me, and I learn a lot every time I do one. You know, so So
thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.